So hi, everybody. Welcome to North America. Today's a fun one. Oh, I'm your host, Peter Shields. Today, we're going to be talking about the CL-215, 415, and CL-515. They were developed by, it was developed by Canadair originally, then developed by Bombardier, and then DeHavilland. So what I did is I interspersed the video with a few classic aircraft from each one of these companies. So pretty cool. I put the credits in the description for all the videos that are there. If I missed anything, please let me know. I apologize ahead of time. Also, I left the engine sounds in whenever possible because engine sounds. And the last thing I want to say is this video is dedicated to firefighters. Everybody who's out there, whether they're in the sky or on the ground fighting fires, it's so appreciated, especially with what's happening with our climate. This video is kind of a break from politics because, oh my God, just can we have a break for 5 minutes? Thank you. So I hope you enjoy. If you like, well, click on like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you'd like to. Share because we're trying to build our channel right now. Another thing. Oh, and come see my business and technology site. Excuse me. Come see my business and technology channel. I'll put it in the description below as well. Thanks. I hope you have fun. Wildfires are intensifying every year. Communities are at risk, ecosystems are burning, and firefighting agencies are desperate for tools that work. For more than half a century, one aircraft has stood out above the rest, Canada's purpose-built water bomber. First born at Canadair, modernized under Bombardier, and now reborn by DeHavilland Canada. This aircraft family has become the global gold standard. This is the story of the CL-215, the CL-415, and the new DHC-515 fighter. So the story begins in the late 1960s. At the time, firefighting agencies around the world were improvising with whatever they had. Old cargo planes, converted transports, even retired military bombers. They could carry water, yes, but they weren't designed for the job. Canadair, a Montreal-based aerospace company, changed that in 1967 with the CL-215. The world's first aircraft designed from the ground up specifically for aerial firefighting. The CL-215 made its first flight on October 23, 1967, and entered service in 1969. It carried up to 5,300 liters of water in 2 fuselage tanks, scooping that load in just 12 seconds from a lake or river at 130 kilometers per hour. In the right conditions, it could deliver 6 to 10 drops per hour, each one covering nearly 1.6 hectares of burning forest. Powering the CL-215 were 2 Pratt and Whitney R2800 double Wasp piston engines, each producing 2,100 horsepower. These 18-cylinder air-cooled radials had a storied past. They were the same engines that powered the legendary Vought F4U Corsair, the Grumman F6F Hellcat, and the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, all icons of World War II air combat. By the 1960s, those same engines were being used in a very different war, the fight against wildfires. With their distinctive radial growl, the CL-215 carried a piece of aviation history into every mission. The aircraft's rugged design and amphibious versatility made it an instant success. By the time production ended in 1990, Canadair had built 125 CL-215s. Painted in bright red and yellow, these planes became symbols of safety and resilience across Canada, Europe, and the Mediterranean. Before researching this video, honestly, I only thought they were painted red and yellow, but I've seen all kinds of beautiful variations. So let's take a look at some classic Canadair aircraft. The first one up, the classic F-86 Sabre. What a beauty. Oh my God, look at that profile. This is a contemporary of the MiG-15s. These look like airplanes we used to see on Ultraman. Oh, the T-33. This was designed by Kelly Johnson, the same guy who designed the SR-71, the F-104, the U-2, and so on and so on. The CL-28 Argus was used for submarine detection, if I'm not mistaken. The CL-44 Yukon, look how beautiful this is. The entire tail section would swing open, which, wow, really makes me worry about hinges and latches and something. The CL-41 Tudor, beautiful airplane used by the snowbirds today. Cute little thing. Not sure we wanted to defend our country. The CL-66 Cosmopolitan, listen to that engine. Excuse me, listen to those engines. Beautiful. The CF-104, designed by Kelly Johnson once again. Beautiful aircraft. Missile with a man in it. The CL-84 Dynavert. I swear, I don't know if I invented this memory, but it's like one of my earliest memories was seeing that plane fly. Canadair CL-215. Look at those round engines. Listen to that sound.
They seem to have gone away now.
This is the aircraft that did it for me, the Canadair Challenger. What a beautiful airplane. And I watched this documentary and it just blew me over. Pachelbel's cannon at the end with this motivational speech, absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to be quiet. Let's watch it.
The sheets and blocks of aluminum, the hundreds of miles of wires, the ideas and craftsmanship of thousands of people finally come to life within the personality of a single machine. The test pilots talk of high control power, of harmonization of control forces, of good balance and handling, the qualities of a great aircraft. But Adkins brags that this aircraft is gifted with at least tangible qualities. It enjoys flying, if such a thing is possible.
Next came Bombardier, the inventor of the ski dog. It was called ski dog, but because they had a problem with their typewriter, the G came out as an O, so it ended up being patented as a skidoo. So Armand Bombardier, the inventor of the skidoo, was the founder of what Bombardier is today, with all the recreational products and their aircraft products and so on. So after acquiring Canadair in 1986, Bombardier modernized the aircraft for a new era. The result was the CL-415. Actually, first it was the CL-215T, where they put turboprop on the plane. But then they decided, if we're just going to put turboprops, instead of retrofitting all of our planes, let's come up with a new one. This result was a CL-415 launched in 1993 and quickly nicknamed the Super Scooper. I still like Water Bomber better. Out went the radial piston engines, and in came two modern Pratt & Whitney PW123AF turboprops, each producing 2,380 shaft horsepower. These engines gave the aircraft more thrust, better climb, and far greater reliability in hot and high conditions. The CL-415 could scoop and drop 6,137 liters of water or foam with a cruising speed of 333 kilometers per hour. Its efficiency meant it could deliver 10 to 12 drops per hour, far more than its predecessor. Its glass cockpit, digital avionics, and corrosion-resistant materials extended its lifespan and improved safety. We're talking about glass cockpit from the 1990s. It was a huge jump for the time, but just wouldn't hold up today. Pilots around the world love the aircraft's agility. It could skim lakes only a few meters deep, turn sharply in narrow valleys, and deliver precise drops along fire fronts. France, Italy, Spain, Greece, and Croatia all built their firefighting fleets around it. Even California leased CL-415s during peak fire seasons. By 2015, about 95 were produced, making the Canadair Bombardier water bomber one of the most widely used firefighting aircraft in the world. If I'm not mistaken, in France, they just call it the Canadair, which is kind of cool. But just as demand was rising, Bombardier shut down the program. By then, wildfires were intensifying with climate change, and countries were desperate for new scoopers. That's when DeHavilland Canada stepped in. Here's some Bombardier planes we need to take a look at. First up, the Bombardier Dash 8. Beautiful evolution of the Dash 7. What a gorgeous aircraft. We see them everywhere today. They're still around. They're still doing great. Bombardier CL-415. If you're an airplane spotter and you know the difference between a 415 and a 515, please leave me some comments. Bombardier C Series. Wow. Absolutely fun. This is what evolved into the Airbus A220, which I hear is a little bit high on maintenance costs. So there's a tad of a problem there. The Bombardier Global, as you can tell, I took these images from an advert. In 2022, DeHavilland announced a rebirth of the program with the DHC-515 Firefighter. Before we go into it, though, I want to show you some pictures of amazing DeHavilland aircraft. First one up, the DHC-1 Chipmunk. Cute little thing. Look at that. I'm sorry I don't have the sound on some of these. DHC Beaver, what a classic. Stubby nose, round engine, round sound. These things have been around forever. So reliable. The DHC-3 Otter, predecessor to the Twin Otter. Look at that thing. Nice turboprop engine. The DHC-4 Caribou. Classic transport aircraft. Listen to that sound. The Buffalo. Short takeoff or landing. Look at this guy. Insane. Twin Otter. Beautiful. Showing off its stall landing characteristics. Monkey paint job. Dash 7, predecessor of Dash 8. Pretty much the same aircraft, but look at the 4 engines. These were so they could take off, they stall airplanes. That beautiful Dash 8. What a classic. Once again, we see them everywhere. And finally, the DHC-515. Again, I can't tell the difference between the 415 and 515, so I apologize I'm sorry if I've inverted and kind of screwed up images. Built in Alberta, the DHC-515 takes everything that made the CL-415 legendary and brings it to the modern era. It keeps a 6,137-liter capacity, but adds state-of-the-art avionics, improved safety systems, and stronger corrosion protection. In ideal conditions, it can make up to 14 drops per hour, nearly 85,000 liters delivered every 60 minutes, more than 2 full swimming pools of water raining down on wildfires. Wow. European countries immediately signed on. France, Greece, Croatia, and Italy ordered 22 aircraft in the first batch. For them, the Canadian Scooper wasn't just a tool, it was essential infrastructure. For DeHavilland, the orders secured hundreds of skilled aerospace jobs in Alberta and Quebec, reviving one of Canada's most iconic exports. These aircraft matter because wildfires are no longer seasonal. They're a year-round crisis. In 2023, Canada lost over 18 million hectares to fire, the largest burn in modern history. Greece, Portugal, Spain, and even Sweden have faced catastrophic wildfires. California, Arizona, and Alaska are spending billions on aerial firefighting support. And at the heart of many of these operations is a Canadian-designed scooper. Why? Because of balance. Helicopters can carry about 1,000 liters per drop. Heavy jets like the DC-10 can deliver 40,000 liters, but they need long runways and hours to reload. The Canadian Scooper, on the other hand, hits the sweet spot, about 6,000 liters per drop, with the ability to reload in seconds and deliver 10 to 14 drops an hour. That's why since 1967, the growl of the R2800 double Wasp on the CL-215, the whine of turboprops on the CL-415, and now the hum of modernized systems on the DH-515 have all become sounds of reassurance in fire-prone regions. When people see the red and yellow bomber overhead, they know help has arrived. From Canadair's pioneering CL-215 to Bombardier's modernized CL-415 to DeHavilland's new DHC-515 Firefighter, this is Canada's firefighting legacy. Born from a necessity, refined by technology, and now more vital than ever in an age of climate crisis, it stands as one of Canada's greatest aerospace achievements. A machine that has saved lives and landscapes for more than 50 years and will continue to do so for decades to come. If you enjoyed this deep dive into aviation history, Canadian aviation history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about aerospace, defense, and Canadian innovation.